I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us here in Closing Arguments. We begin this hour with big breaking news. You know we've been following the story of Naomi Irion out in Nevada. She was abducted. There were videos. There were persons of interest. There was a video of a vehicle that we're looking for. And now, just within the last hour or so, this information coming to us from the Lyon County Sheriff, okay? On March 25th, 2022, LCSO, Lyon County Sheriff's Office, and assisting agencies have taken a suspect into custody. Do you hear me? They've taken a suspect into custody. They have also impounded a pickup truck that was possibly involved. We saw a picture of that pickup truck. We are still actively searching for Naomi Irion tonight. We'll have additional information available as soon as possible. Two huge takeaways from this breaking news. One, they've got a suspect in custody, but number two, still searching for Naomi. Now, for those of you not familiar with the story and some of the facts here, here's Eric Kuzmers, Lyon County Sheriff Detective.
At 05:23 hours is her last Snapchat ping. We know that she was active on social media up until that point and active on her cell phone. At 05:24 hours, the suspect approaches Naomi's vehicle. And at 05:25 hours, Naomi's vehicle leaves the Walmart parking lot with the suspect driving the vehicle. On March 15, 2022, Naomi's vehicle is recovered, and we're currently processing all evidence with that. As you notice, it's been on social media that there's the way the suspect walks, his clothing description, all that stuff is imperative to leading us to a possible identification of the suspect. Here's a map provided to us from the FBI of Naomi's cell phone mapping images, basically showing that she was active at the Walmart parking lot between 05:09 a.m. and 05:25 a.m. Lyon County, with assistance of the Washington County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue, Lyon County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue has conducted multiple searches through the air and on the ground looking for Naomi. Please contact us if anybody knows somebody who has access to the vehicle that we're looking for. It's a 2020 or newer 2500 or 3500 high country model. It's dark in color. If you know somebody who has that vehicle or has access to that vehicle during this time frame, please reach out to us. Because Naomi's 18 years old. She's approximately 5'11", approximately 240 pounds. She had brown hair and green eyes. She has a septum piercing and piercings in both of those nostrils. She also has a smiley face tattoo on her ankle, maybe after her ankle. And she was last seen with a dark colored purse. The images that have been previously released show her clothing description of a blue Panasonic shirt. She also had an iPhone on her person, AirPods, and she's known to carry a fidget spinner. Our suspect that we released the videos and images of is an adult male, approximately 6 feet in height, and the clothing description speaks for itself in the videos.
Okay, now let me go through some of the other developments that occurred before the breaking news tonight. Yesterday at 1:25, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office released photos of a car. Let's take a look at it, okay, because this could be very significant. They said it was in the Walmart parking lot moments before Naomi's abduction. Four-door sedan enters the East Walmart parking lot approximately 5:15 a.m. on March 12th. The vehicle drives around the median on the east side before parking at the southeast corner of the Walmart building. The vehicle is parked with the headlights on, and the suspect walks directly in front of that vehicle. So whoever in that vehicle is seeing the suspect. Well, then Thursday at 5 p.m., through your help, the Lyon County Sheriff releases this information. Through your help, we have identified the vehicle and the occupants in the Walmart video minutes before Naomi was abducted, and the investigation continues. So I am wondering if on Thursday at 5 p.m. you release information that you've identified someone who was right there, potentially witnessing the suspect, witnessing what happens. You finally are able to identify them, and now today they've taken a suspect into custody. Big developments here. So let's bring in our guests. Joining me in Clearwater, Florida, private investigator Mike Peasley is with us. In Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen. And in Portland, Oregon, podcaster Gray Hughes is also with us. You can catch him on YouTube. Make sure you do. He's been doing a deep dive into this story and every story that he covers. Gray, I want to begin with you and your reaction to this huge development that you actually called us up and said, make sure you guys know this is happening right now.
I just think it's amazing that it was the arrest was made so quickly after the identifying that individual in the parking lot. But I don't know if that's actually related to that. It just seems like a pretty big coincidence. But the very next day, there's an arrest made. I know that the I've had the family on, the brother and the sister on. And I really feel like, I feel bad for them, but at least they've got an answer now that an arrest is made, and hopefully it leads to finding her. That's
right. That's still a huge part of all this. Naomi has not been found, but a suspect is in custody. Mike Peasley, give us some perspective on how huge of a development this is tonight, and your thoughts about whether or not this arrest. When you arrest someone, how do you get them to give you the information that you're looking for, which is, where is Naomi?
Yeah, that's a good question right now. Well, I was reading this and looking at this. Apparently she parked that vehicle in that parking lot quite often. And, was she a target from whatever day, up to this point of this arrest? And number two, then prior to hearing this information about her being arrested, I was saying, I wonder how many people they interviewed from that homeless camp, and is that subject part of them? I'm a little bit shocked how they got an arrest unless they got some type of evidence from or something like that. Pretty amazing. I'm a little bit taken back that they've got somebody in custody over this right this second.
Yeah, it's the breaking news this hour. Someone is in custody, a suspect, for the abduction of Naomi Irion, but she has not been found. Jason Jensen, things are starting to click. The one thing that I like that they're doing out in Lyon County is they're asking for help, because the public is ready, willing, and able to help in all of these cases. Sometimes they hold back a little too much. They release these videos. I think they have more evidence. But by releasing these videos, now all of a sudden, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, they've got a suspect in custody.
Yes, I think it's always wise to release these videos up front early on before memories fade, because if this was somebody passing through town, it'd be way too quickly forgotten. But, obviously with somebody recognizing either the guy's jacket, how he walked, or even the vehicle, if that's how they identified this guy, it was really smart for them to get this information out so quickly.
Yeah, great. Awareness is a huge part of all these cases. I mean, it amazes me how unaware sometimes people are. The witnesses who saw something may not even have known that they saw the suspect, and may not even have known that this case was going on. Who knows what news they're watching, who they're listening to. So the awareness of all these cases is so paramount in finding clues and getting people to come forward.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people on YouTube that do true crime YouTube live shows, we do a good job of, kind of keeping live information going. I do think it's a little strange that the person who parked their car there, it took them putting out a call to that person to come forward. It seems like, they were right there. They seem like there's somebody that maybe was even waiting for the shuttle. So, if you're somebody out there and you witness something, don't be scared to come to law enforcement. Just come forward, and it'll help dramatically.
Gray, dig into that a little bit more, the shuttle, because that's, I think, an important part of all this, right? Why Naomi was there so early in the morning.
Yeah, she left her home at about 4:50, went to a gas station, got some snacks, and then drove over there and was over to the Walmart and was there from probably 5:05 to At 5:25 is when she was actually abducted, and the shuttle leaves at like 6:30 or 5:30 to 5:45 in that time frame. So this person seemed to be waiting there for her specifically because they didn't do anything to that one car that pulled up. You know, they didn't abduct that person, and then they went south and then stood there staring at her vehicle. It's pretty creepy to look at.
Yeah, Mike Peasley, you look at this, you're wondering, is it targeted? If it's targeted, you got to find out what was going on in Naomi's life. And if it's random, it's completely random. I think those cases are much more difficult to put the pieces together. But apparently they were able to put these pieces together, even though the surveillance video does not show the suspect's face.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Again, going back, and I'm glad they got somebody in custody. At least there's, some relief to their family knowing that there's somebody in custody. But big question here is, you go back to these surveillance cameras. So many of these places only hold those surveillance cameras for 5 days. I certainly would be checking those surveillance cameras, see if that subject was around in the parking lot days prior to, this happening, and see if they captured him on surveillance at any point at that. So, without a body right now, I mean, the big thing that, again, before I came on tonight and before you broke that news, I kept thinking this homeless camp, somebody just got in the car and possibly took the car and took off. But we don't have her right now. So I don't know. And how much traffic, how many other cars
Absolutely
are stopping there to get on that bus? That would be one of my questions.
Jason Jensen, now we've got a suspect, right? He may or may not talk. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But now you've got to track where this man was, when he was there, before she's abducted, and then try to track where he went afterwards if you're going to have any chance at finding out what happened to Naomi.
Well, and I think that the next move for law enforcement would be to do a tower dump, specifically tracking wherever this individual's cell phone went, if he actually has a cell phone.
Big part of this. All right, this truck is in the middle of all of it. And Gray, I know one thing we wanted to talk about tonight was, I know you took a look at that pickup truck when it was, a key piece of evidence in all this. And I know that you did something, and explain to us exactly what you did here and what it means, what the significance is, and how it ties into investigating this case and where Naomi may be.
Well, at first it seemed like right after she was abducted, maybe he transferred her to his truck and took off. And then somebody on my YouTube channel mentioned that it's light outside, and I was like, that's interesting, because the sun comes up at 6:55. So that means it's already, after she was abducted at 5:25, we're already looking at about an hour and a half before the sun comes up. So I actually said, well, let me figure out what time this is. And I actually had already located where the surveillance shot was after her car was found. I guess that they linked the two because it was near there. And it turns out that fence that you see by the truck right there was right there. When you go to Street View, it's right there at the Sherwin-Williams plant there. And then on behind the truck, see that little slanted, I don't know what you call it, a fence rail there? I found that spot right there. So that's exactly where the truck is. So that circle you see on the lower right-hand corner is where the truck was. Okay, as it was driving by, the lower yellow pin is where her vehicle was found. Okay, so what I did to determine the time was I took an overhead shot of Google Earth, made sure it was north-south oriented, brought it into a program called 3D Studio Max that has a sunlight system that you can put in the exact date, time zone, and also the GPS coordinates. So I have it right at that location, and then doing experiments by rendering and rendering out the shadows, I determined that it was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when that car is driving by. So whether that was on the 12th, 13th, or 14th, I don't know, but they're linking it. So I'm assuming it's on. I'm assuming it's the 12th. That's what my theory is. It's on the 12th. But it's amazing that it was actually at 3 o'clock. So that's 10 hours.
Right. What's going on for those 10 hours?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Jason Jensen, that 10-hour time period, significant here.
Oh, yeah. Like on the defense side, they're going to say there's no immediate linkage between the two because there's so much time attenuated between her abduction and the sighting of the truck. But obviously, there's something there more that the police is not revealing to the rest of us that otherwise led them to this decision because a lot of vehicles, I'm sure, pass that location every day.
Mike Peasley, trying to figure out what's going on, where she was taken, and then ultimately what happened. That's what the case is turning on now. He's a suspect, may or may not speak. He could be telling him everything right now. That is very possible. It's very possible. But if that doesn't happen, I think you've got to search every security camera in the area, try to spot these vehicles, and try to piece together a much more specific timeline to try to track movement here.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it'd be interesting to find out if some of the information they got was off surveillance cameras from Sherwood Williams there where the car was located, found. And I'm sure there's a lot of businesses up and down there. So, yeah, the tracking of that vehicle is imperative right now. But that time span is what's getting me right now.
10 hours, a lot of bad things can happen in 10 hours. All right, our guests are staying with us. Mike Peasley, Jason Jensen, Gray Hughes. When we come back, more of the big breaking news tonight, folks. A suspect in custody, Lyon County, Nevada, for the abduction of Naomi Irion.
Relief today.
Yes, I would encourage anybody to come forward who had access. Anybody, it can be somebody borrowed your vehicle. It can be somebody, your neighbor drives this vehicle. If you know somebody who drives this vehicle or had access to this vehicle during this time frame, that's what we're asking you to come forward and speak with us. Please notify us through secret witness at 775-322-4900 or the Lyon County Sheriff's Office at 775-463-6600 or through the email address at detective@lyon-county.org.
Big breaking news tonight in the case involving the abduction of Naomi Irion. The sheriff in Lyon County, Nevada, just releasing this information within the last hour or so. On March 25th, 2022, LCSO, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office, and assisting agencies have taken a suspect into custody. We have also impounded a pickup truck that was possibly involved. We are still actively searching for Naomi Irion. We will have additional information available as soon as possible. This is huge news. The search is still continuing for Naomi, but they have a suspect in custody. My guess, they are interrogating that suspect unless he said those magical words, "I'd like to talk to a lawyer." Let's hope he didn't do that so investigators can get information from this suspect. I want to remind you a little bit about the timeline of this case, what happened, when it happened. March 12th at 5:09 a.m., Naomi parked at the Fernley Walmart. 5:09 to 5:23 a.m., Naomi was active on social media, right? Most people are when you're waiting to do something. She's waiting to get on the shuttle to go to work. 5:23 a.m. was her last Snapchat ping. 5:24 a.m., a suspect was seen on video at Naomi's vehicle. At 5:24 a.m., Naomi's vehicle leaves the Walmart. Her vehicle then recovered on March 15th. That's the timeline. Okay, folks, still with us tonight, private investigators Mike Peasley, Jason Jensen, and podcaster Gray Hughes. And joining us now tonight in Reno, Nevada, special guest Naomi's mom, Diana, is with us. Diana, first of all, on behalf of everyone at Court TV, our thoughts are with you, our prayers are with you in the search for your daughter. But your reaction tonight. When did you hear the news from the sheriff that they have a suspect in custody tonight?
I actually got a text from my son just before the press release went out, and I was actually broadcasting with Pascal on YouTube at the time. So if you rewatch the broadcast, you can see the moment that I got the text, because you can see the shock on my face when that happens.
So, what are your thoughts tonight? I mean, this is a big development. What are your thoughts? What are your hopes as we sit here tonight with Naomi still missing, but someone being interrogated, hopefully?
Well, I have two sides of a coin. I'm jubilant and terrified. I'm jubilant because they caught someone and have a truck that matches the description, but I'm terrified it's not the right one.
Can you tell me a little bit about Naomi? Because I want people invested in this story. I want them to know who she is, because the search for her is continuing tonight, and we will continue to follow the story and keep her picture out there. Folks are doing it all around the country. Folks like Gray Hughes on his podcast as well. Tell me about her.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vinny, for giving me this opportunity. Naomi is an incredibly brilliant person, both academically and artistically. She plays musical instruments, the piano, the ukulele. She sings beautifully. She's a talented software coder, a developer. She won awards in high school for it. She is kind and empathetic to others. She is a very staunch justice seeker and defender of the weak. She stands up for people who need her help. She is incredibly generous and giving to others. She gives of herself, both of her time, her effort, and her finances, to the point of detriment of her own well-being, because her outgoing concern for others overpowers her own sense of self. Naomi is incredibly charismatic. Everyone who meets her loves her. She reaches into people and pulls them into her incredibly loving circle. She loves fiercely, and she will defend you, and with her every breath. And she's a bright light that she burns brightly. The people around her notice her when she walks into a room, and you miss her when she leaves.
What an amazing tribute. And, you know, as I hear your voice, I know where all those characteristics in Naomi come from. You know about the apple and the tree.
Thank you.
Was there anything going on in her life? Was she being stalked, harassed, or was anything else going on? Because I think one of the issues in the case, people are wondering, was she targeted? Was there something happening, or was this some random evil man who abducted her?
To my knowledge, she was not being stalked or harassed at any time around her kidnapping. There was a sexual harassment complaint at her place of employment. That was months ago, and it was handled. As far as I know, this is a stranger that found her somehow. I don't know.
And have you gotten any additional information from investigators tonight?
No, just the fact that they have both the suspect and a vehicle. The vehicle's been impounded, so I imagine that CSI is going through it with a fine-tooth comb right now. And the suspect is in custody, and I don't know where the suspect is in custody. I don't know if it's here in Fernley or if it's in Reno. I don't know.
And how's the rest of the family tonight?
We're all feeling very on edge and keyed up because we need news. We need to find her. We need to know. But we're also really scared that it's the wrong person and that we have to start the process all over again from the beginning. It's the height of the emotion is it's wrenches your chest apart and makes you feel like you're having a heart attack and you're about to die.
Well, again, our thoughts are with you tonight. Gray Hughes, podcaster out of YouTube, been covering this story. I know you've been talking to the family. I'm not sure if you've spoken with Diana before, but your thoughts on this moment.
Yeah, it's just, I know exactly what they feel like. I mean, I cover so many cases, and I think missing person cases are almost the worst that any family can go through. It's, you're always sort of holding your breath. And, you know, some of these families do it for years and years and years, and they never get an answer. So I'm just hoping that there's an answer soon.
Absolutely. Jason Jensen, they have a vehicle. And as Diana indicated, I'm sure they're going over it. Hopefully that vehicle can tell us some bit of a story and can lead investigators to wherever Naomi is.
Well, yes, exactly. And since it's a newer model, I would imagine it's got Navstar on board. So whether it's activated or not, it will have GPS history for that vehicle. So as long as they can access that, it should be helpful for law enforcement to determine where that vehicle's been in the recent history.
Diana, before you go tonight, I want to give you an opportunity to speak out loud. And if in fact this suspect is the correct person, the message that you have for him tonight.
To my daughter's kidnapper, you need to tell us where she is. Things will go much better for you if we find her safe and alive, because this case is very big, and agencies all the way up to the highest level in the federal government are paying attention to this. And if you do not give up her location, the weight that will fall on you is severe. You must give up my daughter's location. Please give my daughter back to me, please.
Diana, thank you so much. We'll stay in contact with you, but please know that we are thinking of you. We are thinking of Naomi. Gray Hughes, appreciate your time tonight and your insight and your continued coverage of this story as well. Jason and Mike, I know you're staying with us. God bless you and your family, Diana. God bless your family. We'll be right back.
Thank you.